How do you figure out if it's worth breaking your current mortgage to refix for a newer, lower rate? Well, that's what this video is going to tell you. And I'm the Mortgage Man. You probably follow me on TikTok or Instagram. If you don't, please do. That's where all my content comes, and I'll be able to help you, like I've helped all these other people, either buy their first home, refinance, or buy investment properties. But how do we figure out whether or not you should break your current mortgage to refix for a lower rate? That's what's happening in the market at the moment, and in this video I'm going to break that down for you. So you've got your current house, and this is obviously an example that you can run along with. You got your current house, it's got a $600,000 mortgage, and you've got 2 more years fixed at 7%. Ouch. So you need to know your current interest cost for the next 2 years. You need to know the potential and alternative interest costs, so obviously what the market's offering, and you need to know your break fee. You have to get this break fee from the bank. There's no way that I can tell you what this is or that you can calculate it. So there's 2 ways that you can do this. You can use an app. This one is called Simple Mortgage Calculator. I have an Android phone. I don't know if you'll be able to get it on an iPhone, but these are the 2 scenarios that you do. Alternatively, you can do a rough version on your calculator. You just go 600,000, which is your mortgage amount, times 7%, which is the interest rate, and that's going to tell you how much per year the interest cost is, roughly. Obviously, it's not going to reduce like you would if you had a mortgage. And then you compare that versus the market rate. So I've used 5.59%. But the more accurate way is what I've done on screen, and I can do this for you guys if you message me, because yeah, you may not be able to get this app. So you're comparing 600,000 at 5.59, which is the market rate for 1 year at the moment, versus 7%. Now there is an assumption that I've made. I've made that basically for the next 2 years, you're going to be on 5.59%, even though the current offer is only for 1 year. I'm just assuming that based on market, you're probably going to be getting 5.59 again or less. Like, I don't know exactly what that number is going to be. I can't predict the future. Just bear that in mind. So when you look at the detail side of this app, it's going to tell you the total interest that is charged on those 2 scenarios. So in the first year, it's going to be 41,000. The second year, it's going to be 40,000 and a half. So over 2 years, for the remaining part of your mortgage at 7% for 2 more years, that's like $81,000 of interest that you're going to get charged, which is quite a lot, versus 65,000, so 32 plus 32, assuming that 5.59 is the interest rate or less that you're going to get over the next 2 years. Obviously, you're paying principal as well, and that's why this other example of just using a calculator isn't as accurate, because it's going to be reducing as you go. The other thing to note is that this is on 30 years. Obviously, if you've got less time, you need to factor that in. So basically, when you compare those 2, you're saving about $16,000 over the 2 years in interest. So $8,000 per year. It's quite a lot. So to figure out whether or not it is worth doing this, you need to know what the break fee is. If the break fee is $4,000, then obviously you're going to be saving $14,000, which is really good. Then you probably want to do this, but you need to factor that in. And then once you've decided that it's worthwhile, you've got 2 options. Option 1 is stay at the same bank. You do this yourself. You just pay the break fee out of your cash, or maybe you can ask them to add it onto the mortgage, which is probably a mortgage application, and get a cheaper rate. Option B, which is what more people are doing at the moment, is you move banks, because you get a cheaper rate, which is great. You also get cash back. So if you've got $600,000 worth of lending, at the moment, you're probably going to get $5,000 to $6,000 cash back. You do need to pay a lawyer $1,000 to do the refinance. But if you had $1 million mortgage, like, that $1,000 is still going to be the same, and this number here is going to go up, and you're obviously going to be saving way more money. So I guess the disadvantage of doing option B is the admin involved, but that's why you would use a broker for this part, whereas this one you can probably do yourself. And with option B, you have the ability to also, because you have to send in your documents and do a mortgage application, to add the break fee onto the mortgage if you want. You could potentially do other things with your mortgage, like a debt consolidation, a top up, stuff like that. So there's massive benefit of doing option B if you can be bothered with moving banks, which somebody said, hey, I'll give you $6,000 for moving banks plus saving of interest. Seems like a no-brainer. So obviously there is huge value in potentially breaking your mortgage and refixing at a lower rate, but you need to know what that break fee is. And once you have that number, then feel free to click the link below and we can do these numbers for you. We can look at moving you to a different bank and just seeing what the benefit is. It's got to make sense to you. You've got to understand the pros and cons, but there are plenty of people exploring this option right now, and that is exactly why I made this video.